Hello and welcome back to a video. First things first, before we even start to talk about TBRs, I have to admit one thing for just complete transparency, and that is that I suck. And I suck hard at TBRs. I think I haven't once in my life managed to stick to a single one of them. And by the way, spoiler alert for the Asian Readathon part 2, yeah, I didn't stick to this TBR neither. I failed my TBR. Wow, what a great thing. Expected, but still disappointing in a way. Well, there are now people that have the same problem as I do. They do TBRs and then they never stick to them. So they end up deciding that they will cut out TBRs from their life for good, because they're not sticking to them. Like, why be such a hypocrite? Why talk about books that you would like to read if you're not going to read them? And then there's sort of me. I'm sure I will only ever give up when hell freezes. I don't want to miss out on TBRs. I think they're so much fun, and you know what? Although I haven't managed yet to fulfill one for 100%, I've at least always gotten through more than half of the books that I've put on the list. And that in itself makes me very proud. And to conclude all this, beneath the bottom line, I just love talking about books that I'm excited to read. Now I know that in a regular motivated reading month, with not too many obligations, I am able to read about a book a week, so let's say 4 to 5 books. June, however, will be quite a stressful month. So now with that in mind, I still try to create a TBR of 5 books, but allowing myself the possibility of failing it. So let's get to the TBR. The first book that I picked was The Package by Sebastian Fitzek. I don't even know, I just translated it from the German, it's called Das Paket, whoever cares, but I am not sure if there's actually a translated version for this one. I think Sebastian Fitzek is actually just one of these thriller authors that happen to sprout on our planet like there's sand on the shore. I don't know, there are just a lot of thriller authors and he's one of the more well-known ones, which doesn't automatically make him a good writer or a better thriller author, but at least I've heard of him. And when my mother was sorting out books and she put this on the giving away pile, this name just immediately caught my eye and was like, hey, I've never read anything about him, I should try it out. Like, maybe he's not as bad as I expecting him to be. Which obviously, like, my mother putting him on the to get rid pile is not really awarding the book in my opinion. But hey, I wanted to give it a try. Okay, what's this book about? The back of the cover is literally addressed to you. So it actually says like, your postman hands you a package that was meant for a neighbor of whom you have never heard before. You take the package because you don't think anything of it. And then the text leads you there. Well, I don't know, to me that sounds intriguing. So I was hooked. And I will let you know how I feel about this. By the way, there are a couple of books like that in the stack, and by that I mean like books that are page grippers, books that hold my attention, because I figured that in a month where I'll have to study a lot, I will probably not do so well with slow burners. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a slow build, but I also know that from time to time it can drag. So yeah, I'm sticking with the page turners for now. As a second book, actually this is not a page turner, at least I don't figure that it is, I've got The Midnight Library, which I have actually bought in October for the birthday of a friend of mine, and I gifted her a copy of this, bought myself another one because I thought, like an idiot, like I always do, that we could buddy read it. I'll never buddy read. Now she has read it and she told me that she loved it. Fun thing about my friend and I, we have contrary reviews and contrary opinions on books. So whenever she likes a book, I seem to hate it, and the other way around. So I'm really not too sure what that says for The Midnight Library. I also, by the way, I don't have any clue about what's inside here and I don't want to know. I'm just sorry that I cannot really give you a summary on the things. I'm just trying to explain why I'm excited to read books. And that doesn't always have to do with the premise of the book. I've just very quickly flicked through the pages and I saw that it's like divided into chapters that are shorter and longer. So I'm guessing that there is a kind of poetic style to the writing, like some lyrical finesse maybe. I don't know. I will see. The Midnight Library. I'll let you know. Then I've got Concrete Rose Angie Thomas has become a yearly summer read by now. I think the past 2 years I've read like The Height You Give. The Height You Give? The fuck? Sometimes I don't even realize how I pronounce things. But on the other hand, just imagine, wouldn't it be fun to have a premise like that? In a world where everyone is just too small, there's one person that can give you the height. And the book is called The Height You Give. Just imagine. And after that, on the come up, and now I'm reading, or I will be reading, Concrete Rose, which is a prequel to The Hate You Give, actually. So it doesn't affect Star's story in any way. It just tells the story of her father, because many people seem to be very interested in her daddy's life. Then I've got One of Us is Lying. This is also young adult, but it is a mystery. So apparently 5 students, or better said pupils, have detention at one afternoon, and during this detention class one of them drops dead, literally, and probably one of the others is involved in something that has to do with their death. Maybe they have even killed them. Who knows? But this one was on my TBR for a year now, and I've always kind of searched for an occasion to read it, but it never came up. So I created an opportunity for myself. And the last book on my list is Stephen King's Misery. By the way, if you were wondering why I had a band-aid on my finger, because I didn't explain that, I just ran out of plasters, so that just looks way more horrible than it actually is. Like, I just opened a food can for my cat and I sliced my finger. It's not that it's completely cut off or something. I know it seems very dramatic. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, Stephen King's Misery. This was actually a booktube recommendation. Like, I saw it on booktube, didn't know it existed. I bought it in December of the last year. It's about a writer in a wheelchair, and the subtext says something like, Paul Sheldon used to write for a living, now he's writing to stay alive, which semantically, in my opinion, has the same meaning, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, yeah, it's horror, I guess. It's Stephen King, and it's, at least according to the booktubers that I'm following, one of his best works. So I will see that for myself. And with that, I am done with my list of books. It was a small TBR, but hey, I will probably fail it anyway. Let me know what you will be reading in June if you want to, and I'll see you around.